Good morning, everybody. Michelle is back. Michelle is back again. The fallacies of being alone. June 10th, 2026 on a Wednesday. So I wanted to go ahead and just say a little bit more, not too much, because, everybody's talking and I don't want to overwhelm you with a lot of rambling because there's so much rambling out there. And I noticed that people are stealing other people's ideas. My ideas were taken from my website, and some people have placed these similar ideas on their websites. So it's like this snatch and grab mentality going on within all of us to be relevant. I genuinely want to help people. I haven't been paid for what I've been doing for the last few years. Nobody's paid me, and that's not what I'm looking for. Okay, my goal in the beginning was to help people, and I know that I have practical needs. So I had practical needs, knowing that I had to basically take care of myself as well. I can't take care of people and not take care of myself. That was the mentality I had, and that's the mentality I have. Thankfully, I'm able to, I'm resourceful, and I can take care of myself. And that's the part that helps to develop you to where you just really enjoy yourself. You enjoy being around yourself because you know that your needs are going to be met. I meet my own needs. I don't need anybody else outside of me to meet my needs. Okay? I take care of Michelle. I make sure Michelle is fed. I make sure Michelle is bathed. I make sure all those kind of basic necessities of my life are taken care of. I eat good. I sleep. I rest well. I function properly because I've developed myself as such. And that's where the fallacies of being lonely come from, in my opinion, is from lack of intimacy with yourself. You're lonely because you don't like what's looking at you in the mirror. Don't be fooled by these people who get on television, especially the social media platform, and talk about all this confidence they have, and talk about, they act like they're so they have this high self-esteem. I know that's a bunch of bullshit. I've been around it. I'll see people performing on the social media platform, performing in public with people, and you would think this person is just highly, highly self-confident, have a high self-esteem. As soon as the meeting is over, as soon as the event's over, as soon as this and that and the other, as soon as everything calms back down and it's just me and that person, I see something completely different. This person is hard on themselves. This person is extremely critical of themselves, and it's just I've been in that presence of people behaving that way so many times that is shocking to me. It really is. I'm like, but you was just up there on the stage and you had people applauding you and being inspired by you, but yeah, you come, and that's what happens with a lot of people. They get up there, it's because it's performance. That's what it boils down to. People who are performing or involved in performance, you wonder why, a couple of days later, they've unalived themselves. You know why? Because they have no intimacy with themselves. They do not like to be in the company of themselves. They always need others to keep patting them and pushing them, because a lot of them people that are performing out there, pretending to have all this self-confidence and pretending they love their beauty and pretending all this and that and the other, they actually, there's a self-hate there. It's self-hate. And I wanted to look up something, and I have thousands of videos out there that's obviously being stolen, because I saw some of my content on another website, but they're in another continent, so they can get away with it apparently. And you know what? Again, I'm not bothered by that because artificial intelligence is going to reveal all of that for a lot of people. A lot more people are going to be exposed, and they're going to be at a point of despondency because they were cheating, they were stealing, even though that's what artificial intelligence is doing. Artificial intelligence is acting in the background sometimes in criminal network, because what? That's what their founders are in. They're doing exactly what their founders are doing. But eventually, there's always an equal point. Their founders are doing it. The innovators are, everybody is, that those religious tentacles are doing that. They're using artificial intelligence against people, believing, okay, they're going to benefit from it. Artificial intelligence is following orders right now. Okay? So, being lonely is definitely a fallacy, because you're not lonely. You're lonely inside. You're not physically lonely. Nowhere. We're in an extreme bottleneck. We're massively overpopulated. Okay? You do not value what you're looking at in the mirror, even though you're in the mirror every day, putting on makeup, some of you, shaving, some of you. You're so harsh and criminal. You're so harsh and critical of yourself. And you just have to develop, it's a close association, and it's not, the intimacy doesn't really, it's not, the dictionary doesn't even touch the surface. It's a closeness towards yourself. It says towards someone else. No. And it doesn't necessarily have to be sexual, but some women self-satisfy themselves. Masturbation, if I could say that. Okay? Intimacy means you love the smell of yourself. You love the smell of your breath, even though it may be horrific in the morning. You just enjoy your presence. You accept your emotions for what they are. Okay, you're not perfect, and you know that. You make mistakes, and you know that. It's a feeling of being close in a personal association. But it says here with another person. I say with yourself. Okay, where you are, you just value your time with yourself, even if others are not. Okay, even if others are not, even when you get rejected, you ask somebody you ask people to go out with you, they reject you. You ask people, to exclusively date you or date me. I'm just using myself as an example. And that's the one thing about intimacy with yourself. You can be the butt of a joke. People can be making fun of you. People can be, doing this and saying stuff about you behind your back. Usually that's what the cowards do. But some people can be making fun of you, laughing at you, and you're being genuine. Some people call you goofy. They say she's silly, But when you develop that intimacy for yourself, that stuff bounces off you, and it really does. When people used to treat me harshness from people, even during my career, as a first responder, whatever, it bounces off me. Like, when somebody, I'll just say it, I doubt this person is listening, but I remember when someone was calling me stupid and dumb and saying, you're not as smart as you think you are. And that hurt me, not me personally, because I know damn well who I am, what I am, why I am. But if for somebody to be saying that to me or saying that to anybody, that tells you right away that person does not have intimacy for themselves. As a matter of fact, that person probably is on the verge of harming themselves. And that brings me so much sadness, because, and we talk about this mirror, which is a bunch of, I'm telling you, we are so wrapped up in rhetoric and rambling and piecing together knowledge. It is not flowing properly. Okay, a mirror is a mirror. Okay, so when you go out and reflect yourself towards others, you're reflecting your mirror. So if you're calling somebody stupid, whoa, imagine what you're calling yourself, and imagine how you're treating yourself. And that brings me sadness, because there is no need. When I'm out in traffic, I'm calling people all kind of things, because it's like the extreme bottleneck, and I need to get from point A to B, blah 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 blah. But it's not personal. Never is personal. Meaning where I want to cause harm to people, and I want people to feel bad. No, I don't. It's about universal love from me to you. So, sadly, a lot of things the damage has been done. Some people have harmed themselves via narcotics, including alcohol. Get over it. Alcohol, gluttony is a number one sign of lack of intimacy. Gluttony, hoarding. Hoarding has gone into that psychosis of loneliness inside, and you can snap out of that though. When you look in that mirror and recognize, okay, I did this to myself. Whatever you are having an issue with, I'm looking at a mirror up above me here. You can snap out of it and say, wait a second, is any of this real that I believe? Do I believe all this stuff? Do I need all this hoarding? Do I need to overindulge and eat and eat and eat? Nobody's hungry, especially in America. There were some people that were starving in America, and they were ignored in an inner city within the United States of America. There were people starving, but it was known. Understand what's going on. Loneliness is a lack of intimacy for yourself. You can be when you have the proper intimacy for yourself, you can be sitting anywhere. You can be eating anything, and you'll be okay. Develop the love for yourself. Think about who do you love? If you do, there's a it's fractured though. That's a fractured love if you do not have intimacy for yourself. So you probably really don't love people, even though you say you do. You're probably just dependent on them. And some people say, I can't live without him. I can't live without her. Well, that's lack of intimacy is what that is. Fearful. Okay? Love who you are. Understand what that means. Intimacy is what we're missing in our existence. It's not missing in our relationships, because if you don't have it within yourself, it's not going to be in your relationships, interpersonal relationships. And it's not about sex, people. That's where everybody gets all. Ooh. It's not about sex. It's actually better. Okay, it's better. Intimacy is the highest level of expression towards yourself, value towards yourself. I love who I am, what I am, why I am. I love what I've developed within myself. When I look in the mirror, I am joyful for what I see, because I know what I've developed. I know what I've gone through. Now, what other people see or don't see, that's on them. And I don't expect nobody to treat me a certain way anyway, because if it's not genuine, it's not going anywhere with me anyway. I'll shut that shit down quickly if it's not coming from genuine, interaction with me. And I'm talking about, when people talk about relationships, partnerships, da 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 da. I don't fall for all of that. I have the partnership with myself. I have the intimacy with myself. I have the love within myself. Now, it can be emitted out. You remember when I said some people are attracted to me, but I'm not necessarily attracted to them? Sometimes you get those signals from people. And then sometimes when people are not attracted to me, eventually, for some reason, it develops over time where they are. Especially when they get to know me, where they really say, okay, I think I can be with her. Da 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 da. But I usually, I'm very particular about what I want. I'm very particular about what I need. And it's flattering sometimes when people value you and like being around you. I am very, very, very particular about who's around me. Okay, because of our bottleneck and the extreme overpopulation, I know how important it is to value my space, protect my space, and make sure I'm bringing in the proper amount of love, support, da 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 da. It's not easy for anyone to get close to me unless I allow that to happen. It's not the other way around. Okay, so I may have an interest. Say for example, I may like somebody or want to get to know somebody, but it doesn't mean that I will, especially if the signals are off. Blah 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 blah. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop this right now. I think this is. I'm gonna come back and say some more things, but I really need to go and get my day going. But just leave with this, okay? You're not lonely, okay? You're lacking intimacy with yourself. Work on developing that. I can help you, but everything has to come from you. You have to decide, okay, do I genuinely enjoy looking at myself in the mirror without finding fault with everything, my lips, you can tell people who have distorted and grotesque their face with fillers, makeup, Botox, all that stuff. They look grotesque, but because they're so disconnected from themselves, they don't see the monstrous, monstrous look they have. This unnatural look, that they have, and what they've done to themselves. It's just like, God, what in the world? But they can't see it because they've disconnected from reality and they disconnected from themselves. Peace and love, and trust me, I will be back.